If nakedness or nudeness has any nobility in it, animals would have preceded us to that nobility. Ba'du to our sisters all around the world. In my recent tour in Africa, Europe, and some of the Gulf states, I've noticed while passing through the immigration, some of our sisters were asked to uncover their ears in order to have their pictures taken and their passports stamped. And I've noticed that a sister had done that. She uncovered her ears. And worse than that, I saw a sister, the officer asked her to remove her hijab to have her picture taken, and she complied. To all our sisters around the world, Aslahakunna Allah, I ask that Almighty Allah rectifies your affairs. It should be known that your ears are part of your hijab. When a sister garbs up and takes care of herself through her own hijab, her ears must be covered as well. It is upon the people of ilm in those countries and all around, those who have voice to voice out, to help our sisters and let them know that uncovering your ears are forbidden. Especially when you are abroad, especially when you are outside. Those ears are part of your hijab that Almighty Subhanahu wa Ta'ala asks you to cover. They may not know that your ears are part of your hijab, and often as an immigration officer, he or she will only go by what they see in those passports. So when they open and check, your ears are open, they will ask you to uncover them based on that. If they see that in your passport you did not have hijab, but now you standing in front of him with al-hijab, he will ask you to uncover that. So try your best, dear sisters, before you take any government ID or passport picture, your ears are covered, properly garbed. You have your hijab properly done, so that when you're in front of an officer, he has no excuse to ask you to uncover that. And even let's say in the past you have your passport done that way, hair uncovered, try to reason and let them know that you've done that in the past without knowing, but now you know that is part of your religious identity, that is part of your garment. So politely let the officer know that, officer, I'm sorry, I cannot take that off because it's part of my religion. The officer will not argue with you because he only goes by what he is told, or by the protocol of the country, or by the law of the country. So let him know that as a Muslim, you respect that law. You respect the law of the land. However, the universal law, which is the law of Allah and the law of His Messenger, also asks you to make sure that your ears are covered, your bosoms are covered. And I would like to seize this opportunity to remind my sisters, specifically in Africa or wherever those African sisters are, in terms of sewing their clothes. Sometimes you see that they sew the clothes and all here completely open and uncovered. So when she puts it on, you can see her chest, you can see the back of her neck, you can see her neck. Dear sister, Almighty Subhanahu wa Ta'ala says in His book in chapter 33 in Surah Al-Ahzab verse 59, Ya ayyuhan nabiyyu qul li azwajika wa banatika wa nisa'il mu'minina yudnina alayhinna min jalabibihin dhalika adna an yu'rafna fala yu'zayn. O Prophet, tell your wives and your daughters and the believing women that they should cast their outer garment over their necks and their bosoms and cleavage. All must be covered. So to my sister, whenever you sew your Eid clothes or your regular clothes, please remember Allah's commands that this side must not be uncovered. Do not have it in a way that this is showing, your necks showing, your ears showing, because often you see a sister will have a cloth on but here is open, but her bosom is showing, her neck is showing, the back side is also showing. And the next thing that is worth mentioning is the issue of how tight your clothes are. Sometimes those African clothes are so tight that they are impelled to have someone behind her to zip it up for her, and sometimes she herself has to fold herself in order to zip the front side of it. Dear sister, try to make your clothes loose, not tight on you. It is not revealing any part of your body because this is Allah's commands. Try to apply it before it's too late. The day that you are returning, that day you have no option but to be completely covered from head to toe. And to our Asian and European sisters and those in the Gulf states, Sometimes with your nice hijab on, you release as part of design or maybe some of beauty that you uncover and bring it out. She is completely covered, but she releases portion of her hair hanging underneath her hijab, and sometimes the khimar is pulled back, so you see the ABC of her hair showing, on the front side. All of this must be covered per Allah's command and precept. So to our sisters all around the world, I wanted to usher this to you, and know that Almighty Subhanahu wa Ta'ala said, ذَلِكَ أَدْنَى أَن يُعْرَفْنَا فَلَا يُؤْذَيْنَ. It is better for you that you are conceived and known better with respect. And Allah said, فَلَا يُؤْذَيْنَ, and that you are not molested, you are not pursued. You rarely or scarcely see a sister with full hijab being molested or disrespected. And that's why in the 7th century BC, married women are the only ones to cover themselves. If you are a slave, it is forbidden under that law to cover your hair, because they regard that as an honor, and married women supposed to have that honor. They also forbid women with ill fame to cover themselves. So unless you are married or from a high status family, you are not to cover yourself. Ya subhanallah, even to them, in order to cover yourself as a female, you have to be a dignified woman from a dignified family. But today we reverse that. So as a Muslimah, it is upon you to remember that what Allah had asked you to garb and cover, it is for your own good, because hijab is a protection for you. Hijab is a protection for you, and do not allow anyone to take that away from you. And lastly, if nakedness or nudeness has any nobility in it, animals would have preceded us to that nobility. Remain blessed, dear sisters. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.